What kinds of wild rice exist today?
That sounds like a pretty simple question, but it's actually something that people have struggled with answering, I think, over the years. Botanists classify rice over different generations in a lot of different ways, but most people today consider there to be two primary species. Northern wild rice, which is scientifically called Zizania palustris, and southern wild rice, which is Zizania aquatica. But the one that's most important to humans is that northern wild rice because it has a larger seed on it. That's very attractive. It's very nutritious, and it's very attractive to human harvesters as well as to wildlife. Wild rice harvesters tend to think a lot of times that there's many different kinds of rice because it varies a lot from lake to lake and from river to river. But scientifically, those two big species are the ones that are of greatest interest.
What is the quality of our wild rice?
Well, the wild rice here in the Kakagan sloughs at Bad River is exceptional quality. Although you'll find that people tend to feel that the rice that's closest to their own is the best rice on the landscape. So if you're from Bad River, well, you can't beat the rice in the Kakagan. And if you're from Mole Lake, then the rice that they have on Rice Lake is the best around. So it really depends on who you ask.
What is your name?
I'm Naomi Tillison.
And where do you work?
I work for the Bad River Tribe in their Natural Resources Department. I'm the Water Resources Specialist, so I manage our Water Resources program.
What happens if the contamination reaches out to the Great Lakes? And is it possible?
So we're talking about the contamination from the future mine site.
Yeah.
If it did reach out to the Great Lakes, it could negatively impact the aquatic resources, so the fisheries. It could negatively impact some of the plants that are out there. Also, it could have effects on some water chemistry too.
What other lake or lakes would get polluted if the mining succeeds?
Well, the mine would be located upstream of the reservation. There's a lot of streams and rivers and wetland resources that could be impacted by the mining activity, including some smaller lakes. But it really depends on the size of the mining operation. And so I think anything that's downstream of the mine in the Bad River watershed could potentially be impacted.
This area, Wisconsin, a little bit into the Michigan area, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Manitoba, Ontario. It's kind of the center of the Ojibwe world, of the entire Ojibwe nation. And here we have that food that grows in water, okay? And it's known as monomin, or the good seed. It is a fabulous food. It's extremely healthy food. It's, I guess, a aquatic grass seed. Known as, but to us, monomin, the good seed, and also known as wild rice. And it has fed us ever since we came here. We have been harvesting it. We eat it, we share it, we trade it. But Ojibwe people have a teaching about all living beings being our relatives. We are related. We are all related. And so we want to respect those foods that we use by trying to return the favor in some way. And we always offer our same our tobacco whenever we make any kind of a harvest. And we certainly do that with the monomin. And we actually, when we first start our first harvest, we actually hit the rice the other direction out of the canoe to have the first being offered back to the earth that would grow our new crop. And then harvesting by hand guarantees that there will always be rice going back in. As you harvest it, you never get it out. The rice is always going over the edge of the canoe back into the water. So in that way, we hope to continue our traditions of harvesting, and that the wild rice would always be there for us. And without it, I couldn't imagine Ojibwe people without wild rice. It's just such a part of our life, and has been for so long.